The whistle blows. The stadium shakes. 22 players explode across the grass. And under every foot is a piece of equipment worth billions. Not the ball, not the jersey, the cleats. More than 265 million people play soccer worldwide. Roughly $4 to $5 billion worth of cleats are sold every year. But two of the biggest names in the sport, Adidas and Puma, did not begin in a global capital. They began in one small German town, Herzogenaurach, Germany. Population 23,000. A Bavarian town split by a river where people once looked down at your shoes before they decided to say hello. Same town, same house, same laundry room. Two brothers, one factory, then one sentence in a bomb shelter tore everything apart. And modern World Cup cleats still live in the shadow of that fight. 1919. Adi Dassler, 19 years old, just home from the war. He scavenges leather scraps from military surplus, drags them to his mother's laundry room in Bavaria, and starts hand-stitching shoes between the wash basins. Durable and light. His brother Rudolf joins him. Adi makes the shoes. Rudi sells them. 1924. Rudolf Dassler. The Dassler brothers' shoe factory. Then the world notices. Berlin, 1936, Hitler's Olympics. Adi convinces Jesse Owens, a black athlete at the most politically charged games in history, to wear his spiked shoes. 4 golds for Owens, 7 more medals from other Dassler athletes. 200,000 pairs a year. The laundry room is now a powerhouse. Then the war swallows everything. Both brothers join the Nazi Party. The factory gets repurposed, the Panzerschreck, an anti-tank rocket launcher. Shoes to weapons. Rudolf gets drafted. He blames Adi. 1943. Bombers overhead. Adi runs into a shelter. Rudolf is already inside. Adi says, "The dirty bastards are back again." He means the planes. Rudolf thinks Adi means him. One sentence, one misunderstanding, one family split in two. 1948. Rudolf crosses the Orak River, founds Puma. 1949. Adi registers Adidas. 2 factories, opposite banks, 2 empires. They never speak again. Here is the thing nobody tells you. Before a cleat touches grass, it touches a fake foot. A plastic foot. A last. It never plays, never runs, never stays inside the shoe. But it decides everything. The width, the curve, the arch. The reason a Nike Mercurial in size 10 feels completely different from an Adidas Copa in size 10. Engineers start with a 3-dimensional scan of an athlete's foot. Pressure points, arch height, toe splay, mapped to the millimeter. That data shapes the last. One foot becomes the template for millions of pairs. Then the upper gets cut. Leather, real or synthetic, laid flat on a steel table. A stamping machine drops. A metal die punches out each panel. Real leather, 1 layer at a time. Synthetic, 3 to 5 stacked. Fast, clean, exact. 1 panel off and the left and right boots won't match. Then comes the part players actually feel. The upper. Traditional boots are cut and sewn. Panels stitched down the line. Inner seams hammered flat so nothing rubs. Modern boots skip all of that. 1 continuous knitted piece. No cutting, no stitching. The dream, barefoot with studs. Thin yarn, melted polyurethane, waterproofing, grip, flex, all in one skin. Nike called it Fly Knit. Adidas called it Prime Knit. 2 rivals, same race. Make the boot disappear but keep the traction. Then the sole plate hits the mold. TPU pellets melt. Steel molds close. Pressure hits. The plate forms, cools, ejects, 30 to 90 seconds per piece. FG, firm ground, has studs molded in. SG, soft ground, uses removable screw-in studs. Longer for mud, shorter for dry grass. That idea became famous at the 1954 World Cup, when Adi Dassler's boots helped West Germany beat Hungary in the rain. Wet pitch, fresh studs. One upset that turned a shoe detail into football legend. Then assembly. The upper stretches over the last. Adhesive goes on. Heat wakes it up. The sole plate presses into place. Pressure locks the bond. The last comes out. A flat pattern has become a weapon for the pitch. Raw material to boxed product. One day. Then the boot gets punished. Flex testing. Thousands of bends. Friction across surfaces. Weight checked to the gram. Stud height is the critical line. Too much traction, the foot locks during a turn. That is how knees get wrecked. Too little, the player slips. Speed and injury are separated by millimeters. That sole plate takes 30 to 90 seconds to mold. One machine. One cycle. Millions of identical pieces a year. Now zoom out. Herzogenaurach still houses both headquarters. Adidas on one side, Puma on the other. Two global empires. Same small town, same river running between them. Some of the most important boots in football history, from Adidas icons to Puma breakthroughs, were designed within kilometers of that river. And even Nike, the outsider, now fights on the battlefield those brothers helped create. The cleat market is worth roughly $4 to $5 billion today. It could approach $8 billion by 2035. Three companies dominate the game: Nike, Adidas, Puma. Stadium lights, World Cup finals, billion-dollar contracts. It all points back to one family in Bavaria. Here is where the story flips. The 2026 World Cup is expected to be Germany's last major tournament in Adidas. 72 years after, Adi Dassler sat on the bench at the 1954 final. Nike takes over in 2027. The country that made Adidas famous walks into its next era, wearing the rival from America. And Puma. In 2026, China's Anta Sports agreed to buy about 29% of Rudolf's company for 1.5 billion euros. The brand built because one brother refused to share a factory is now part of a much bigger global game. But the strangest part of this story is not the money, not the contracts, not even the rivalry. It is what happened at the cemetery. The stubbornness that split this family is the same stubbornness that built the cleats. Adi kept redesigning because Rudolf kept selling something different across the river. The screw-in stud at the 1954 World Cup was not just engineering, it was proof he did not need his brother. Every Adidas improvement, Puma answered. Every Puma launch, Adidas countered. Hate became pressure. Pressure became better shoes. 30 years of silence, 30 years of innovation. Neither would stop because neither would lose to the other. Rudolf died in 1974, Adi in 1978, both buried in Herzogenaurach. Same cemetery, opposite ends. But on the pitch, their products stand side by side every single match. In the ground, they never got that close again. They started in the same laundry room, they ended in the same cemetery. And every cleat between those 2 points exists because two brothers refuse to forgive each other. Next time you see a pair of cleats on the pitch, remember, they began with two brothers in the same room and ended with a family that could no longer stand on the same side. That is the process. We reveal how things actually work, one story at a time. If there is something you would like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.